Hey friends, Pastor Greg, welcome back for our next video. In our last video, we talked about how to apply the Bible with the overall goal of finding meaning for today, meaning from the Bible for today. Talked about our overall focus and several approaches about how to go about reading and applying the Bible. But today we're going to talk about how not to read the Bible. And a couple of these points are coming from this really helpful little book, the Book of Books, which is linked in the description if you want to check it out and purchase a copy for yourself. But there's a few things about how not to read the Bible. First, don't read the Bible randomly. It's really tempting to flip to a random passage, scan a few verses, look for something that sounds vaguely wise or helpful, encouraging, and pondering all day looking for a personal message from God. That's actually not the way we're supposed to approach the Bible, because if we do it that way, and we do that way consistently, we're probably going to miss the big picture. We're probably going to take ideas out of context. We're probably going to get distracted from more important things that God is trying to communicate to us in that passage and His Word as a whole. We need to do this reading and studying in community, and we need to do it with some purpose, considering the context, considering the big story. So don't read the Bible randomly, but also don't read the Bible with fear. The Bible is a big book. It's a library of books, 66 books in one big book, and that can be overwhelming, especially if you don't have a lot of familiarity with it. It's coming from another culture, and that's a little weird too. And the magnitude of the message, this God, this holy God, this infinite God who's speaking to us, and it affects life and death, life after death, all these things can be a little overwhelming. My advice to you is to take it slowly. Take it one step at a time. It's like the old adage says, how do you eat an elephant? You take it one bite at a time. Same with the Bible. Take it a little bite at a time. As you read more, study more, you do so in community, your familiarity is going to grow, your understanding is going to grow, and it's going to be a less scary thing. Thirdly, don't read the Bible with yourself at the center. The Bible is a personal book. We said in the past that it actually reads you. It gets in your business. That's the design. It would make sense with a God speaking to us, and we're His creatures. That would make sense. It's tempting to look for ourselves in the passage we're reading, looking for something immediately relevant to our lives on every page. And that's just not the way the Bible works. That's not the way it functions. But we want to read instead with God at the center. We must read it in light of God and Jesus, His glory, His joy, His love that is shared with us in the whole story of the Bible, and that communicates even to today's world. And the problem comes, just like with any kind of film or story or book, is we want to get the right characters in the right role, and the right story as well. Think about it this way, is if you think your life, you're living in the world and the story as a character in Daniel Tiger's neighborhood, when you're actually in a quiet place, you're going to have big problems. Things are not going to work very well. The same when we come to the Bible. We want to have ourselves in the proper place, God in the proper place, sing the story for what it is, so that we can better understand it and draw life and encouragement and truth from it. Final thing, how not to read the Bible. Don't read the Bible with scissors and a red pen. Like I mentioned before, the Bible is a personal book that gets in your business. It's supposed to do that. It's tempting to remove and ignore parts that we don't like, the stuff that does get into our business and challenge us. Our third president, Thomas Jefferson, took this to an extreme. He actually cut pages and parts out of his Bible that he didn't agree with, that challenged him, that didn't like. But the problem with this, as we look back in our past videos, is this is actually being an authority over the Bible rather than sitting under the authority of the Bible. The Bible is God's Word, it's Him speaking, and so we want to become under authority and submit to His Word. And because it is an authority, because it is a holy, infinite God speaking to us, sinners, sinful creatures, we should expect it to get in our business. We shouldn't be surprised when it confronts and challenges us. Like I said, it's an infinite, holy God speaking to finite, sinful ears and hearts that are listening. So instead of cutting the Bible, we should allow the Bible to cut us to the heart. Just like a faithful surgeon brings healing and new life by using a scalpel to heal the patient. That's what God is doing through His Word. He is making cuts, but to do so for our healing. We should let it do that to us. We should submit to that because it is for our greatest good and brings us into greater fellowship with God and joy. We shouldn't be quick to dismiss the Bible when it sounds strange to our modern ears. It makes sense. It's one culture speaking to another culture. It should be that way. But it is God speaking His truth, continuing into the 21st century and beyond. And another thing is, familiarity builds over time. It's going to sound strange and weird if it's not very familiar to you, but as you continue to show up, as you continue to study God's Word in community, applying it to your life, your familiarity is going to grow. It's going to be less scary. It's going to be more, you're going to find it being more and more applicable, and you'll be able to enter the world of the Bible so that you can take from that world and apply it to today's world. It's like getting to know a new person or a new friend. It builds over time. So those are a few things about how not to read the Bible. But in our last and final video this next time, we're going to talk about how to read the Bible. We'll see you then.